Hey everyone, so I've been rewatching Twin Peaks lately because my wife Phoebe had never seen it before, and we just got to that episode where Laura Palmer's killer was revealed, and I'm gonna spoil who that killer is, by the way, final warning. I just want to talk about that sequence for a little while because I was really struck this time around by how that whole sequence was constructed. The killer is revealed to be Laura's father, Leland Palmer, in a scene in which he murders his niece, who is also played by Cheryl Lee, the actress who plays Laura. So in a way, we find out that Leland Palmer killed Laura Palmer by watching him kill Laura Palmer again. It's this long, drawn-out scene. It goes on for over 4 minutes, and it's easily the most disturbing sequence in the series up to that point. And I feel like most writers would just be proud of how crazy that murder scene was and just end the episode right there at that intensity. Sorry, you didn't see my script. Look away. But yeah, they would end it at that intensity, right? But that's not what David Lynch does. Leland's villainous reveal is actually one of 3 different scenes that intermingle with each other so that the murder becomes just one melody in a larger song, so to speak. There's Leland's murder of Maddie, there's Cooper and Sheriff Truman following the log lady to the local biker bar, and then Donna and James at a nearby booth in that same club. Cooper and Truman are there as part of their search for Laura's killer, and Donna and James are there after their own search has gotten somebody killed. Donna and James kind of break down about whether finding Laura's killer is worth all the chaos it's causing, while Cooper and Truman watch a singer that, the log lady is sort of just gesturing towards as being the reason they're here. They're sort of full on in Lynch mode's surreal world. And during these 2 scenes, we get cuts of Leland's wife, Sarah, crawling across the floor in some kind of extreme agony. And we don't really know what's going on there. At first, it just seems like a teaser, like we're going to figure out who knocked her down or why she's on the floor. The only thing we've seen her do before this point is there was a scene with her and Leland and Maddie, the cousin, in which Maddie says she's planning to go back home, and Sarah was more upset about it than Leland, it seemed. And so maybe it has something to do with that. Maybe she's having some kind of episode. We assume answers are forthcoming. But the episode never tells us, actually, why she was doing that. It is a surreal image, purely, that serves to really just drag us into the violence to come. Kind of like an overture, in a way. First we only see her crawling across the floor, and then we go back to Cooper and Donna's scenes, and then we go back to another scene of Sarah, and now the camera moves to Leland standing before the mirror in another room. Does he know what's going on with his wife? What's happening, or is he oblivious to it? Because Leland has his own oblivious moments very often up to that point in the show. And this is about the time when the musical performance in the bar takes center stage. Hey, just jumping in the editing bay real quick to make a little correction. It goes from Sarah's collapse in that first shot of Leland to Donna and James and their conversation about Laura and the cost of finding her killer, and also discussing how Maddie is leaving town, which is set up for what's coming next, because of course she's not going anywhere, she's about to die. But then during that scene ends with the music starting to overpower it, and it actually ends with Donna lip syncing the words of the song to James. So it's kind of a way, it actually transitions from dialogue to music within that scene. We watched this singer for a really long time. It feels almost as long as the murder scene. And I feel like she sort of lifts us out of the realm of logic and dialogue into a more emotional, musical state of mind. Then the supernatural giant guy appears, and he tells Cooper it is happening again. the only line of dialogue after the song, which itself doesn't make any sense to us when we first hear it. And only after all this are we dropped into the murder. We leave this beautiful musical sadness and melancholy to a scene in which a record player is quietly skipping. The music is sort of visually stopped by that record player. The strange beauty of what came before makes the length of the murder all the more excruciating. We don't cut back to the bar until it's done after this, once it really gets going. And gosh, it's just so effective. Like, you know, Phoebe and I, we did not make a sound through any of it. And after she dies, what happens? We go back to the bar and finish the two other scenes, which feature Donna collapsing in tears and Cooper being told, "I'm sorry," by a cryptic waiter. And, you know, at this point, nobody in the bar knows that Leland has killed again, except for Cooper's vague warning. But for the viewer, it's a chance to grieve the horror that we just witnessed. It's yet another way that Maddie's death is connected to the pain that still lingers in this community over Laura. Maddie isn't just treated as an exciting plot twist and cliffhanger. Instead, we end by reflecting what Leland's actions have cost this entire town. The reveal of Leland and the murder of Maddie are folded into a larger sequence of shared sorrow and confusion. And because it is shared, it leaves us in these last moments with a strange feeling of possible healing. As always with David Lynch, the horror exists alongside the light, and the horror is just always something that I feel like is taken super seriously because of how it affects goodness. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I love the episode. Not a hot take to say that, but I just thought that was really interesting. Hopefully other people thought it was too. See you next time.